Well, today we're going to have a play with something a little different. It's a 1098 Streetfighter 2010 model. I've owned it for years and years. We bought it as a repairable write-off and decided that we'd turbocharge it. So we done that. We dragged that out for about 7 years, I reckon. And all of a sudden we got it running. I probably rode it once on a bit of a ride day around the suburbs here. Parked her up for another few years and raced it once at the drags. And it went pretty good. Bit of a handful to ride, but that's alright. But the time has come where I want to go for another fang on this thing. So I've robbed parts off it. So my Kawasaki, grabbed the calipers. It's always donating parts for workshop jobs like side stand switches and other parts like that. So I really have to make a bit of a shopping list, see what we need, but I want to get it up and running in the really near future and have a fang at the Kwinana Motorplex. So that's what I want to do today. Get this thing up and running, see what we need to order so we can have a fang down the drag strip. It's got a Motec data logger that we bought from Glenn at Autosport Electronics. We've what else we got here? It runs a power commander for the fueling. It's got big injectors, bigger fuel pump than normal. What else we got here? Power mod ECU, and that was enabled us to remove some ignition timing under boost. It's had the ECU itself reflashed with the Tune Boy stuff, so we could modify the bass tune. But that's it. Oh yeah, I've moved the battery down the side here. Normally they're under the seat, but I needed that bit of real estate for the data logger. Anyway, enough of that. I'll show you the parts actually. They've been living under this bench here in the doorway for forever. I took my one off and we put it on a 848 Streetfighter that we put nitrous on because they didn't have them standard, but I definitely feel the need for the steering damper because this thing gets out of control. Probably third and fourth gear at the drag strip, it just weaves and you can feel it's trying to kill you. So I'm going to sort that out before I ride it for sure. Okay, let's see what we can do. I forgot to mention the turbocharger. Basically, this is an aerocharger. It's a variable vaned turbo. It has its own oiling system, so I was able to mount it lower than the oil level without needing to use an oil pump to return the oil to the engine. The engine is basically standard compression. These are a very grunty bike anyway. This definitely adds a lot more bottom to mid-range power for sure, and also up top, you know, it's quite good. Makes 200 horsepower, which is quite impressive for one of these bikes. It actually makes the same power as a V4 S Panigale, but it makes it at about 10,500 RPM, not at 14,500, so it's very grunty. Alright, we'll write up a list, try and make a game plan. Well, that's a list to get us started with. Let's kick a few goals, get this thing happening. I'm hanging out to do a skid on this bike. Because I'm going to lower the bike with straps for drag racing, normally you'd fit your caliper. These would mount under the caliper, but I need to space these brackets out for the straps, so I've just remembered I've lent them to a fella, so I need another set of those before I can put the calipers on. But I can roughly mount them up for now, run the lines and bleed the front brake system. I never repossessed the calipers off the ZXR because that's where these ones ended up. I bought another set of second-hand ones. They're in pretty good nick. The paint's missing a little bit here, but they'll be fine. The Kawasaki is still on the cards to be finished. So these are the brake lines that came with the second-hand calipers that I bought. They're off for $10.98. There's a few yucky little marks on the bolts, but there's a lot more scratches on this bike from when it's been down the road. So we're going to run with these. And another day, when we finish doing up the Quacker and the 900, we'll do up the Streetfighter Turbo. So these lines, like I said, are off a 1098S. I'm not sure whether they're longer, but I need the line to run out this way so when I pull the forks down, it doesn't jam on the front tyre. Front calipers are done, brake lines are on. I'm not going to change the other fluids, the brake and clutch fluid, they're like brand new. Topped up the coolant. Right, let's have a look under the fuel tank and see if we can put the tank back on. Underneath here, I really can't remember where I was up to. The bike was running, it went good. I started wiring up the Motec logger, rerouted the battery, so he's down here like I said before. So I think I will just eyeball all the connectors and look at putting the tank on. Still got a full tank of fuel from last time I rode it, so might pay to drop that out first, I suppose. So the fuel pump area has been fairly well modified. It's got different fittings, bigger fuel pump and quick release fittings like this. They work really good, so they stop the flow. You can take the tank on and off without petrol spilling everywhere. I'm so glad that long ago I labelled stuff and colour coded the wires, because this was all done so long ago and honestly I can't remember what goes where. I'm just kicking the fast goals and hopefully it'll all run and we can get up the track. I've just gone to put the lead acid battery in there. It feels way too heavy hanging off the side of the bike. I think normally they have another brace up a bit higher that stops the the battery box rattling around. So what we're going to need is a lithium battery, because I would imagine that will snap or damage something in the very near future. So let's try and fit these straps on. It's a bit yucky, but it's going to do the trick. So the strap goes from the top caliper bolt over the lower triple tree, runs back down this side and underneath and to this part here, to this point on the caliper. Might need to play around a little bit to try and get some clearance between the strap and the brake lines. Okay, now we'll pull it down and we'll see if we get some clearance between the brake lines and this strap. With the bike strap down, I've got clearance from the strap to the brake line. When it gets on the ground, I'll make sure that it doesn't do anything silly, but basically that's done. Battery time. Lead acid battery, nearly 4 kilo. Lithium, 1 kilo. I hope this battery is okay. It's been in the bike before, but I haven't used it for a few years. Cross our fingers on that. Sweet. So it's been a while. I suppose it should go. Let's see. Nearly. Not quite. it's really good. Honestly, that's the first time it's probably run in a couple of years. Well, it's not at the track yet. We got to keep doing stuff to it to get it to happen.